Beats balance.
What's going on, family? Beats by Lonze. Another video, and these are some military tips that I learned from being in the military for producers. Now, the Marine Corps has this thing called the 11 leadership principles and 14 leadership traits. You know, JJ did Ty Buckle, if you remember the ditty. But I want to talk about the leadership principles that the Marine Corps taught us. And that's something that we learned from, from the lowest level, going to recruit training boot camp and learning that, and then you take it with you, and it progresses as you go through your career. But I'll talk to you about a couple of the leadership traits that I think that us as producers and us out here in the music industry should be aware of and take with us. The first one is knowing yourself and seeking self-improvement. So you always want to get better. You want to know things about yourself that, hey, I'm good at these things, I'm good at that, I need to improve on these things, and you should seek to do better in those instances. The second one would be that I'll take off the list is be tactfully and technically proficient. And what that means is there's a technicality to beat making, to being in front of your people on social media. So in order to be able to sound like you know what you're talking about and actually show that you know what you're talking about, you got to be tactfully and technically proficient in your job. So that is taking the time to learn everything about the equipment that you are trying to show in your videos. So the last two things I'll take from the 11 leadership principles would be setting an example and seeking responsibility. You always want to set a good example because there are people that are watching you that may come behind you and want to use you as an example. And it's always good as a leader to set the example. And last thing I want to talk about is seeking responsibility. That's going to be in you or not in you, whether you want to be responsible or not, but you should always seek to be responsible to your platform. So, 11 leadership principles and 14 leadership traits. So those are things that are ingrained in Marines, and that's one of the things that kind of makes us stand apart from everybody else, that those things are tied into your aura, into yourself. And two things I'll talk about from the 14 leadership traits would be courage and knowledge. Those are the two things that I'll take out of the 14 traits. Courage, the courage to do the right thing, the courage to make sure that you are giving the product that your consumers want to see. The courage to, if it's not the right thing, steer away from doing the wrong thing. And then the knowledge to know the difference. The knowledge to know that it takes some studying, it takes some getting back to the books, it takes getting back to the drawing board. So those are my military leadership traits and principles, that some tips that I want to give you from what I learned from the military. So again, if you're new to my channel, you can check the playlist for the military tips for producers. And also I have a Facebook group that's called the Military Vets in Tech and Music. You can also go to that Facebook group, and it's just a group where we share information to people that are military vets, whether you're Army, Air Force, Coast Guard, Navy, Marines, Space Force, whatever. We are here to support the community. So again, Beats by Lonze. I'll catch you in the next edition of this series. Peace.